Alright, y'all. So my dog, Trap Lord Ross, he done dropped the updated videos. So if you watched the last video, you heard him. He was going to drop updates on the prison and all that. So we finna find out what David going through. You feel me? We on the road to 1,200 subs. I just stuttered like a motherfucker. We on the way. We on the road to 1,200 subs. Y'all drop a like, a sub, all that, and let's get into it.
David is not having a good time behind bars, people. I've found out some information about what's going on behind bars, inside the jail, what the conditions that David is dealing with, and it's very, very serious. He looked like he was a mess when I saw him in the court. Yes, yesterday morning I literally saw him in the court. He was jingling and jangling through the courtroom in shackles in an orange jumpsuit. He was really having the true prison experience by the looks of him, and apparently the situation is actually quite serious. And a lot of people will be happy to hear that because of the awful crimes against children that he's been accused of. All right, this is the latest. I'm going to break down everything about what's going on with him inside jail, behind the wall. They're saying he's not on S-Watch, but there's no money on his jail books. So I don't know where all that music money is right now. They're saying there's no money on his books. Says David is living a far different life than he was living a week ago. He traded his $15,000 a month LA rental for a cold jail cell with strict rules. They're saying the rules are strict. They're saying he might gotta, he might gotta do what they tell him. All right, he ain't the boss man. He ain't the big celebrity in there. He just a number and some PDF allegations, some paperwork. All right. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ the musician charged
$15,000 a month. That just registered in my head that he said that. This man had a big, dumb, stupid ass house. What the fuck? $15K a month? Now let's see how much that is a year, fam. Cause I have an idea, but I gotta make sure I'm right. 15K times 12. Just so y'all can see I'm not bullshitting. That means a year. This man paying $190,000 or $180,000, but you got property taxes and shit. So $195,000, $200,000 a year just for his crib. I didn't hear about this man until after this whole situation. So how much is he making off music? The fuck?
With murdering Celeste Rivas is being held in a segregated single cell in the men's central jail. This is a serious big boy jail. Right, he ain't ready for the fades that he had lined up there. So David would be escorted from his cell to his shower, which he's allowed every other day, so he can't even shower every day. And the singer is only allowed to make phone calls on the days he is allowed to shower. So he's getting a shower phone call combo, and then he's got to stay in the cell for a whole day. Sources are telling TMZ that David is allowed certain recreation time with fresh air, but only 3 hours a week. And he has no other contact with inmates during rec time.
Oh, down there.
That's
Sweet.
crazy. Again, I don't have any sympathy for him because of the situation and what it looks like he did, allegedly. But these are pretty rough conditions that he's going to be in. It says David doesn't have access to a television. Oh, boo-hoo. And he can't have visitors at this time
Look
either.
at his eyes.
The source revealed that David doesn't have any money on his books at the moment either. Maybe he's going broke. In addition, one law enforcement source said the location where David is locked up is dirty and smells. The source described the facility as wild. He's not on S-Watch, according to sources, but other inmates who have been housed at this very jail include Blueface, Tory Lanez, Suge Knight, the Menendez brothers, and Danny Masterson. Says TMZ previously reported David was placed in segregation at the facility that can hold 5,640 inmates. So a rumor has it, all right, don't know if it's protective custody, if he's just segregated.
Yeah, they're going to do something to him.
He's on voluntary protection. Who knows? But as we learned in the past few days, he is segregated. He is not making any friends. He's in the LA County Men's Central Jail. And he was in segregation because he's a noteworthy inmate. It means he'll be alone with his thoughts most of the day. He was held briefly without bail at the LAPD 77th Street Station Jail, which is a notoriously cracking spot for fades, from what I understand. But there's been some more details of his jail conditions released, and people have been kind of speculating and giving their thoughts on that. So this is David's current jail conditions in bullet points, according to TMZ, as we already discussed. Let's just quickly breeze through it. Segregated single cell, escorted to the shower only every other day, can only make phone calls on the days he showers, 3 hours of rec time a week, no contact with inmates during recreation time, no access to a TV, no visitors, no money on his books, dirty and smells bad. He's not on S-Watch. okay? And people are saying, what a well-deserved downgrade after living his life in a $15,000 Hollywood Hills home. Crazy, okay? He said, can you imagine spending years chronically online and then nothing? Hopefully he's losing just enough of his mind to be miserable and not to get off his charges. Because, oh, he should definitely be on S-Watch. They can't just let him escape life and punishment. Because I feel like S-Watch is very necessary.
Me too.
I hope Celeste haunts his thoughts. Sounds too nice. Send him to the gulag. And it says no money on his books.
To the gulag?
Yeah. But it's a privilege to have snacks and stuff. It's not like he isn't being fed 3 square meals. But
Facts.
Might not be getting no snacks, no commissary, none of that stuff. This guy said, I only went there for processing in 2010, and as I was transferred to Wayside, it was really dirty and old. I saw a guy get jumped in front of the holding cells across from me. They told me I was lucky to transfer since a Wayside jail is supposedly better. It still sucked, but not as much as Central. So, apparently, he is actually currently housed in the same jail as another notorious inmate who we've discussed here on this channel before, Nick Reiner, who murdered his Hollywood hotshot parents. He is apparently also in the same jail, and you know, I'm actually quite eager to get some updates on that case now that I know how to navigate the courthouse. I might have to pull up to the Nick Reiner trial. Might have to see what Nicky Boy's got going on, right?
Nicky Boy. They both look sick. Look at their eyes. They got the same eyes, fam. Look. They got the same eyes.
I believe they're saying it's the real-life Arkham Asylum. Nothing
real
comes close
shit.
to NYC's federal detention center. You had 6ix9ine, El Chapo, Martin Shkreli, all these legends in there. So we got the TMZ article here. David moved to the same jail in LA as Nick Reiner. Okay, they're sharing the same roof. They're both locked up in the county, and they've been transferred to the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in downtown LA. Apparently, the law enforcement want him transferred there because authorities want him under better supervision because he's a celebrity inmate at the center of a high-profile case. That's where David is on administrative segregation, not S-Watch. And that's the exact building that he's in. I believe I've driven past this building before, you know. So Nick's been at the Twin Towers since at least December while he's awaiting trial for the double murder of his parents, Rob and Michelle. Okay, so there's been some more reaction on Reddit as far as David's jail conditions and what he's dealing with in there, not being on S-Watch.
He is
People are a bit surprised. So I hope he has no fans left to put money on his account. He always will, unfortunately. Well, yeah, he's in jail. It's rougher than prison anyway in many ways. People would have thought prison was way worse.
Nah.
But not all. More privileges in prison. Jail is a nasty, dirty holding tank, really.
For y'all that don't know, bro, prison is a lot nicer than jail because you're gonna live in prison for a while, fam. You get an iPad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get all types of stuff in prison, bro, because you gonna be there for a minute. You are now a resident. This is now your home. In jail, you just here until we ready to kick your little funky ass back out your cell and bring you back. You feel me? So, yeah, prison is a lot nicer than jail, bro.
TMZ calling him a rapper at the end had to be racially motivated. He's not even close. Not even rapping. He ain't even really spitting bars. He barely could sing. He'll always be in segregation with his nasty weirdo shit on his paperwork. He'll never be accepted in general population.
Facts.
The only way he'll ever see Gem pop is if he makes it to a prison yard at like Corcoran SHU where the GBGs run shit and all of his cellmates are PDFs like he is. That's crazy. It says, doesn't matter where he goes, the Mexicans in Cali will find a way to get him eventually, even if it's years later. Don't forget Tory Lanez was in PC when he got stabbed. Bad paperwork plus not a gang member equals no
help.
It's saying, I'm worried about MS-13s whose members are mostly Salvadorian. Love hearts, all right? There might be Get Back for Celeste.
Crazy,
there might
bro.
be... Look, I'm not even trying to make light of the situation, but Slide for Celeste might become a real thing. And
Slide for Celeste is going to be a real
calling
thing.
for violence. Someone might slide for Celeste. That would be a hell of a video to make. All right, I'll be here following up if somebody slides for Celeste. Acting like Mexican gangbangers who recruit children at 12 are going to be upset about David is definitely something special. If they're mad because they wanted to get to her first, they're saying that there's other. Let's not do all that. Anyway, LOL, his label dropped him. That money's going to stop coming in real quick. People need to stop streaming his music on Spotify. Apparently his monthly listeners have increased or something like that. Man, shake my head. Also, he should not have any kind of electronic access, period.
Why is his streams
Hope
going
it stays
up?
that way.
Y'all are weird.
Says if he can't use a phone regularly, he isn't getting a tablet either. Maybe he can get commissary. It would seem his parents would put money on it if he could use it. saying David is so dumb he probably thinks he can play Fortnite when he goes to prison.
Nigga stupid.
Either way, justice for Celeste is all that matters. I hope he rots in a jail cell or gets the DP. If he does get extradited immediately, he doesn't deserve to breathe the air she doesn't get to. So there's a little update. Hang on. So the last thing I want to leave you with that's interesting, and this might be a little sign of things to come, a lot of people have been drawing parallels to the Ian Watkins case. He was an English singer, pop singer, or kind of rock and roll singer who was convicted of very, very serious crimes against children. And he ended up getting a big sentence, and he ended up getting murked in jail. You might remember a few months ago when he got killed, I made a video saying we smoke in that Ian Watkins pack. This guy is an absolute despicable scumbag who committed crimes against children, literally babies. And so he really deserved to go out like that. And you never know, we might see David go out the same way, okay? And people saying, thinking about it, David's case lines up with the Lost Prophets case in quite a few ways. He was born and raised elsewhere and either was or at least seemed to be a relatively normal guy. Early family life very close to the church. He blew up, got famous, and started working and living in LA around those kinds of people. Like a big star, it went to his head. He ended up falling in with the wrong people, got on hard drugs, notably meth in both cases. This drug use would tie directly into the later depraved, sickening acts against minors. They leaned into emo aesthetics in their art. They both had a very similar way of trying to appeal to kids through current trends and memes. Ian's mega lols around 2010 might as well have been David's Labubu toss of his time. Both hinted at their crimes in their music videos, with David's allusions to homicide, murder, and death all over his music, particularly in Romantic Homicide with him killing a Celeste lookalike, and Lost Prophets doing a notorious, horribly aged Mr. Rogers-themed music video for Town Called Hypocrisy. Both were discovered to have illegal material on their devices during the case, as well as multiple victims. I think the only real difference is that as far as we know, David didn't target nearly as young, and I don't think there was a murder in Ian's case, but in both cases they deserve the same fate. Ian spent over a decade of his life behind bars, with other inmates siphoning off all of his money, and then when it went dry, he was killed. Hoping similar for David.
Facts.
Ian Watkins was also a meth user, which fuels the most depraved behavior, but in no way an excuse for anything either of them did. But it's lucky that David never reached the level of fame and power that Ian did. It could have been so much worse. Okay? And Ian Watkins' password on his computer was IFKids. That was his password. This guy was disgusting. Okay, I don't even want to get too into what was going on, all right? He was apprehended in 2012 on drug charges. He got bail. He'd already attracted attention from law enforcement. Apparently, he was smuggling cocaine and meth from LA. Then he was arrested for drug possession, and then he possessed an obscene image of somebody he shouldn't have. He pled not guilty to the image after being granted a bail, but
then this is stressing me out, bro.
This
is stressing me out, bro, because I got a child, bro. Like, I really do something to David about my child, you feel me? So, like, people who are parents feel this shit on another level, bro, because it's like, bro, we bring children into the world to protect them, and we got weirdo PDFs like this who hunt down, like, children and prey on them. Like, this shit is sick, bro. Like, this is why all the people say they don't blow up and go to LA, bro. They say everybody in LA is weird, bro.
Getting caught up for even more serious charges. So I don't think many people knew this, but before the band broke up, there was a show on the Warped Tour towards 09 to 011. We realized that Ian had a depressingly sad drug addiction. It just snuck up on us because unfortunately we were living in LA.
I just said
that. David tossing Labubus, kind of similar to what this guy was doing on stage. And in the end, he ended up getting smoked in the prison by another inmate. Okay, and the guy that killed him is low-key gone down a bit of a legend. I'm not going to lie to you. So that was Megalols for sure. But look, I do think that he might be in trouble in the jail. He's got a very serious situation on his record. Who knows if the Hispanic gang members might want to slide for Celeste. Who knows if he might even end up hurting himself. But look, I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything else about his jail conditions, about anything else to do with what's going on behind bars. And I will definitely, I'm plotting out my next moves. I'm definitely going to go to another court date. I can't quite make the next ones, but I will be back attending in person with David, holding his feet to the fire. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 more videos on this today. I just got a couple of quick updates I've got to try and get in. I had a really busy day yesterday doing all that content. The video that we dropped this morning I actually filmed yesterday, but I appreciate everybody still checking that out. Thank you so much. And the plan is I'm going to do 2 more videos today, and then I'm about to go shopping with the fam, okay? Because I'm out here in LA. The fam are out here in LA. We're doing a little doing a little trip right now, okay, while I'm at the courthouse getting busy and holding David's feet to the fire. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching this one.
Y'all let me know what y'all think, because me personally, I think it's over for David because he is sick. He's nasty. And if you're just still defending him, bro, you're sick too. Like, why we always make the wrong people famous, bro? We make weirdos like this and Diddy and, like, why do we make all these weirdos famous, bro? I'm not fucking with it, gang. Y'all let me know what's up. But me personally, I hope that he go up the road for a long time. Because what he did was uncalled for and sick, bro. Like, nasty sick. But y'all let me know. Y'all drop a sub, a like, a comment, all that good shit. We on the road to 1,200 subs, bro. We at 1,187 subs. We're 13 subs away from the goal. So y'all lock in, tap in, bro. We on the road to 1,200. It's your boy Snipe. We out this bitch.